Alright, we're pulling a transmission today. That's what we're doing. We're doing it. Justin? Grab a bucket.
Grab a bucket.
This man only works on buckets. That's what he uses to sit down. We're pulling a transmission. I have, what time is it?
It is 1:44.
I have 2 hours. Pulling a transmission. Alright, so at the end of the last video I talked about the clutch issue that this car is having where the clutch fork is at the back of the window. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what I mean by that. I have a extra transmission or 3 laying around here for 350Zs because that's what we're into. But the clutch fork should sit naturally somewhere about halfway in the window, and then as you hit the clutch pedal it should push it back like that. It actually sits somewhere further up here I think when there's a pressure plate in there to push against it, but it sits somewhere there. But then you push it and it actuates it. You can see what that does. But let me hurry up and hop under this car over here. This one, for whatever reason we're about to find out, that fork's already at the back of the window, so I don't know if the pressure plate just fell apart or if the clutch disc is in backwards, or if the throwout bearing may have just fell apart or something. I'm not sure at all. So we're gonna pull the trans off and take a look. We'll get after it. So the first thing I'm gonna do is drain this fluid. Miles, if you're watching this, I bought Redline for it, so I'm gonna reuse it since it only has like 15 miles on it. I got a nice clean pan, nothing in it, so I'll put something over it so no like dust and debris gets in it too. Sorry. All right. Looking for like a 10mm Allen socket. I really need to clean off my tool cart. I just used this the other day. Pro tip for all you 350Z guys. When you're removing the drive shaft, I know a lot of times it's like, it almost seems like you just have to use either a really small impact that's probably not strong enough or just 2 wrenches. But if you have a wobble extension where you have just that little bit of flex, you don't have to use it because you don't like impacts just break universals, but this won't typically break, and it'll get your impact just far enough out of the way of the drive shaft that you can actually use the big Johnny. So keep that in mind if you got to remove a 350Z drive shaft. Get a wobble extension. They're perfect. Additional pro tip, thanks to Justin over here. Additional pro tip: don't use chrome on an impact. Oh, there's a light that says when we're recording. Anyway,
It says.
I didn't realize that, but it's on the front. I'm looking at it. Anyway, thanks to my lovely assistant Justin here for helping record this. But I figured since I talked about it, I might as well show it. I throw a wrench on the back. I'll show you. Put this in normal extension mode here. It doesn't really, like, you can't get it on there good enough. I don't know if you can tell. You might want to pull it closer or zoom in a little bit to show that. But like, it won't seat all the way on the bolt, and if you try to turn it right now, it'll just strip. It'll strip it really bad. But if you pull it out into wobble mode, it should slides right on all the way, and then you're good to go. You just buzz it right off. Rip to headphone users on that. So we're plugging away at the car. We got the drive shaft all the way out. You guys saw me take one of those bolts out. We're working on getting the bell housing bolts out. Some of them are sort of a pain to get to, as with most transmissions. The 350Z is no different on that aspect. We've got the shift knob and the surround out of there so the shifter can drop down, and it's getting pretty close. We got to drop the cross member to get to the last couple of bolts on the bell housing, and the last plug is kind of hard to get to with the transmission all the way up. And this car has solid like aluminum transmission or engine mounts, so we'll probably have to loosen those to get it to actually do the tilt action that we want. It's probably not gonna get done today because I have to go to work soon, but perks of having a job, right? Well, old Justin forgot his bucket over there or something. I don't know. He's not working.
What?
I'm just messing with it. We actually decided to call an audible because two of these transmission bolts are just right up here at the top. You can actually see the head of one. I'm zooming into her. Right there. They're pretty easy to get to from up here. There's like enough room for your hand and everything. So before we drop the back of the transmission down, we're going to get those from up top here. We're down to just those two 14s on the bottom. Bust those out, get the cross member off, get that one plug up top, and we're done.
You can throw this ratchet away. It's got less teeth than most trailer park bolts.
All right, that's gonna be all we're gonna get done today. It's about 3:30, and I leave for work at 4, so I gotta pack my lunch and everything. Yada yada, stuff you don't care about, stuff that's not getting put on video anyway. We'll come back out here tomorrow. Tomorrow's actually Thanksgiving, but since we're off work, I'll have like the whole day, and except for a family dinner. And we'll get the last 2 bolts out of the transmission and the 4 out of the cross member, and we'll drop that down, get it off there, and we'll finally know. I'm dying to know. What'd you say?
Pull out for the first time, was that?
I'll see you guys in the morning. All right, happy Thanksgiving from the past, or something like that, because it's Thanksgiving Day right now. I just got back from 3 separate Thanksgivings on my wife's side of the family. Got to do my side of the family tomorrow, but we're gonna get under the car, take those last 2 bolts out, and get that transmission off, and hopefully I'll have some news or something to show you guys really soon. I'm hoping for that at least. I can't do a lot of under the car video work right now because I don't want to put my nice camera just laying on the ground under there all the time. And this is the shortest my tripod gets. It's kind of tall. It's probably taller than the car is high off the ground right now, but that kind of sucks. So I already ordered actually a little mini tripod that's pretty short, and then I am charging up one of the GoPros, I think. It might be the one that doesn't charge, but I don't know. I had GoPros a couple of years ago, and one of them broke and one of them didn't. I don't know which one I found. So enough talking. I'm gonna get a couple of bolts off just for verification though. Yeah, it's taller than the car is high off the ground. It's a big boy. All right, I'm dirty, I'm nasty, but I finally have some closure, and I'm actually kind of unhappy about it because the clutch that went into this car, I actually bought for myself, and then ended up not being able to use it because I'm going 2JZ in my personal 350Z. We'll talk more about that later. But I'm pretty unhappy about that because it's an ACT. I'm not bashing them. I'll contact them and see if they can do anything about it. Maybe it's been too long because I bought that clutch about a year ago. But it doesn't hardly have any miles on it. It's got like maybe 40 or 50 miles on it. And I'll show you guys what happened to it. And I'm going to grab a flashlight, get out of the car. Let me turn this the other way. I don't have to really look for the front. So, first things first, that whole situation works fine. However, if you look, can I stick my camera up in here without getting it nasty? The ends of those springs are supposed to be kind of straight. And it won't, there we go. It won't hold focus. But the ends of those springs are supposed to be straight, and they're not. This pressure plate is done for. Big sad, big sad. But we gotta take the exhaust off to get the transmission the rest of the way out. As you can see, it was still sort of sitting in there. The tail shaft area is sitting on top of the exhaust, not sitting on top of the exhaust, but it's hanging out over top of the exhaust. So the Y pipe's gotta come off. And then we'll put a stock clutch back in it, I guess. We'll talk to you some more pretty soon. All right, just for reference, this is what those springs are supposed to look like. Okay. But it's not. All right, I'm going to try to get this transmission dropped the rest of the way out. I just gotta pop the Y pipe off, not the whole exhaust, but just get the Y pipe down out of the way, and then the transmission should fall right out of the car. And I can change the clutch. I can fit the torque wrench down there to get that changed. And then that's about all I can do tonight, because even though I have a transmission jack, it's under the car. Even though I have a transmission jack, it's not really a one-person job to get that shoved back in there. You gotta have one person sort of pushing while one person's twisting. And I'll have to wait till morning to do that. Shout out to CJ for helping me today and Justin for the last couple days. Let's get into the car and get to work. Well, we're about to hopefully get this exhaust off. Finally. It's really weird that 13 is not anything normal. Ooh, this doesn't fit. Yeah, that's not good. Oops, took your light away, sorry. I got something in my eye. Ah! Ah, there's something in my eye. Had to switch up to the big guns. There ain't no way.
See.
Alright, I switched out to black impact grade extension and socket, and we'll see what that does for us. Alright, it spun. And that time it stripped. But I think it'll still work. Just gotta get that on there good. Yeah, it's spinning. I'm actually going to switch to a ratchet. That way I don't have to risk beating it up too much more. I won't bore you with 3 minutes of me ratcheting on this thing though, so I'm going to go ahead and shut this off. So I had to resort to this method of getting the exhaust bolts out. Just cutting the heads of the bolts off and popping it off that way. I already got one of them done. That's going to be what I have to do. Don't want to record that because the sparks will hit the lens of the camera and ruin that. Not into that. But it's not fun being under the car while you're grinding. You get hit with a lot of sparks, but you just got to remember, birth control first. I mean safety first. Man, this pain of an exhaust. I had to cut all 4 of those bolts, even though it has test pipes, so like those have been off at one point. But these, I tried and tried and tried, and they wouldn't come off either. Man. And then I couldn't get that rubber piece off, so I just took the mount off. But that's nothing abnormal. Those things are kind of tough whenever they actually work like they're supposed to. But now it's time to actually get the transmission out from under the car now that it's freed up. Let me get out of the way. Unfortunately, that's as low as we go. So I can't get it out from under the car without jacking the car way up. But it's got like a foot between, pretty close to a foot, between the front of the bell housing and the back of the engine. So I think that's enough room for me to work with to get the clutch changed. So that's where we're going to stop for now. I got to come back out here after I go to a family dinner. This is the day after Thanksgiving, so got my family's dinner today. I went to the 3 different in-laws places yesterday. If you don't like some goat and alpaca ASMR, then there's something wrong with you. Look at these cuties. I don't have anything for you right now, but since you guys came around, I'll put you on camera. This is my wife.
No, don't eat me.
This is your first time on camera? Welcome to the channel.
Stop.
This is Albert. He's a big boy. Big boy. And Lucifer. He's a little boy. Wade, Socks, Honey, Everest. In that order. They're just lined up like this. Oh God, he's getting your laces.
Don't eat me. No. No. Alright. Let's go, baby.
Okay. Just slid out from under the car. I got the pressure plate and clutch off, and it's not looking good so far, but I'm about to take a look and make sure it was at least in the right way. This side doesn't say anything, it doesn't look like. Oh my God. Huh. There's your problem. Good God. Yeah, this is transmission side, which is how I had it laid in there, so it was in the right way, it just, holy cow. Wrecked. The ones that didn't break off, like the ones that are broke off are somewhat straight. I can't get that to focus. There you go. The ones that aren't broke off are still almost straight, but the ones that didn't break off are just bent, right? Like, wow. I'm shocked. That's the worst I've ever seen. The Z-Fly wheels use these weird Torx. Focus, please. Focus one time. There we go. Torx bolts. And I don't have like a big socket for it, so I use a 10mm 1/2" drive socket, but it would fall in too deep, so I got to put some just 10mm no flange nuts in there. Let them drop down in. 2 of them. And then the Torx is 10mm, so then I have my socket. I think I'm going to glue all that together one of these days. Figured you'd all laugh about that. Just something ghetto that I have to do all the time since I'm always working on these cars. You can see about how comfortable I am in here. It's a real nice place. Probably take a nap. CJ, your little impact can break these flywheel bolts loose, and they were torqued at 80 pounds. Well, it's doing it. This 13-pound Fidanza flywheel is going to be a little bit of something to take off above my head, but I'm really not looking forward to putting that 28-pound stock one back on. That's going to really be something. Plus I got to line up the dowel pin and stuff. Risky business. But I don't have any birth control that's going to save me from a 28-pound flywheel. I'm going to have someone pry this while I hold it. That way I don't kill myself. So we're to the part where we're torquing the flywheel down. And obviously you can't do that by yourself because the whole engine will just spin. So I got Justin over here. You know, the guy that works on buckets. And he just starts judging me and yelling at me about the ratchet being on reverse instead of forward. So it wasn't stopping the engine. But like, the ratchet's in his hand, right? Right?
No, just go.
I'm gonna say the viewers are on my side. You guys are on my side. God, how much is 80 foot-pounds? I'm rolling the creeper around.
It sounds like 80.
I can't get the freaking torque wrench to click. Now that we're finally done underneath the car, except for I do still have to like put a plug back in, and I can't glove. I do still have to put the plug back in after we get done filling it up and put the exhaust back on, but it's really hard for me to film underneath the car. But now that we're back up here, I can do a little bit of filming, finally. So this is us just pumping fluid in the transmission. Super exciting. Like, comment, subscribe if you like pumping fluid in a transmission. All right, back under the car where I can't film anything. Sorry guys. I'll get a lift soon, probably with my tax check. That'll make things way easier, but until then, I do have not one, but two mini tripods on the way, so you'll see a lot more in the very near future. I feel defeated. Absolutely defeated. It was like 2 weeks ago at the very most. I don't even think it was 2 weeks ago. I had this car sitting a little bit further forward than it is right now, and I changed the engine. The old engine is right there. That's the one that came originally in the car from Nissan. I put that engine in there. And obviously I had it all apart for that. And I put it together and it ran, but it made a funny squeaking noise. But the squeaking noise kind of went away as you drove it. And that flywheel being all ate, or not flywheel, pressure plate being all ate up like it is, I think might have been a bad throwout bearing. But while I had the transmission off, I played with the throwout bearing. I made sure the clutch fork went back and forth, and I spun the throwout bearing, and it spins. It spins just fine. It spins pretty smooth. But I'll let you guys hear it. Leave a thumbs up for my thumbs down. I'm I'm going on vacation starting tomorrow. I'm going for 8 days or something like that. I'll see you guys when I get back.